good business? Like, can you be a good business mom and be a good mom? If you are somebody who wrestles with mom guilt, you are not alone. I have 7 children. My name is Mama LB, and I run a successful business from home. I'm a work-at-home mom, and I'm a multi-6-figure earner who spends a lot of time over on Instagram. I like to coach people, and I love to help people grow an audience online because organic social media is so rich with opportunity to make money from home. And if you're somebody who is in real estate, or you're a photographer, or you're a stay-at-home mom like me and you're sharing products, maybe you're network marketing, and you struggle with mom guilt because you feel bad for working from home, then this video is going to be for you. We're also going to be making hamburger buns because I need to get 2 birds with 1 stone. I like to create content from my kitchen, and today we're gonna be having hamburgers for supper tonight, and I'm gonna be making hamburger buns because I just can't stand all the ingredients that are in hamburger buns, and these are so easy to make at home. If you want the recipe to that, I'm making Ruth Ann Zimmerman's hamburger bun recipe. I'll drop that in the description for you below. But I wanted to read this, that's why I got my laptop out. I wanted to read this because all the time in Facebook groups, especially business Facebook groups, where moms are hanging out and talking about how guilty they feel and how bad they feel that they're working during the times that their babies are awake. And specifically, I wanted to read this to you. I never want to leave. I never wanted to work during my daughter's awake times, as I didn't think it was fair on her, which means that I always work when she naps or is in bed for the night, which makes for very long days. Yep. Basically trying to be a full-time mom and running a full-time business too. I'm a perfectionist, and so this is really hard. And so we're gonna talk about mom guilt while we make some hamburger buns. And my goal is that by the time you finish this video, you will be empowered to make your own hamburger buns, and you will say goodbye to mom guilt when it comes to working. And I'm gonna share with you my tips and tricks because I don't do mom guilt. I love my work, I love my children, and they mutually benefit one another. And that was by design. And so when I started seeing a lot of women, especially coming into network marketing through Facebook, Instagram, and things like that, they felt like they either had to be all in working all the time or all in being with their kids, rather, all the time, not their parents. Let me tell my son his lunch is ready. Pardon the timer's off. Okay, so first things first, let's get these buns going. We're gonna need an entire cup of butter.
This is mine too?
Yeah. Carden's gonna get it up for you. So this is really simple. We're gonna be using butter. Butter. You can't do that to my buns.
Get your butt.
Hey, only Daddy gets to do that. I love you. I do not have a baby in my tummy, but you wish. Oh, hey, that's fun. Okay, so first of all, can you put on the his show though? Because he is not having that. So right now, I'm considered to be working right now, and I am on YouTube Live. This is my job. I love creating content for moms. Typically, I'm talking about my tips and tricks from motherhood. I share recipes because basically I'm running a restaurant. We feed a lot of people here, and so I like to share recipes, cooking from scratch, tips and tricks for baby sleep, postpartum. I've given birth 8 times, and so I have things for postpartum tips and tricks. And so when I had started my blog and created content and infused it with affiliate links, it has really, really been fortunate for our family. And so that's what I do for work. I also became really obsessed with helping people move their feet. And one of the reasons that people don't move their feet is because they're afraid to get started. So I love to create safe spaces for brand new entrepreneurs who are trying new things or they want to grow an organic social media audience online, and they have lots of head trash about it. Like, they just have thoughts about it. And so I'm a CBT practitioner. I'm a certified coach, and so I love helping people get to the root of their thoughts and their beliefs so they can take different actions. Because the truth is, your circumstances don't change. But when you learn something new, your behavior can change, and a new behavior can change your circumstance. Because if you always did what you always done, that you'll always get what you always had. And so that, good job, buddy. Okay, can you move this over there though? I'm gonna use this space. It's not burnt. Just switch having the burnt. Okay, so we're over here and we're melting butter. Number one. And while I'm waiting for that butter to melt, I'm gonna get some water and some milk ready. This is a simple recipe again. Butter, milk, salt, honey, water, flour, and yeast. And that is all you need to make yummy and delicious bread. Actually, I'm going to be making hamburger buns, but nonetheless. So, I like to help people get their feet moving. Like literally. Sometimes it's with your health, it's in your marriage, it's with your money, it's with something.
Mom, he's not taking what I got.
Okay, offer him one that's not burnt, and then he will gladly take it. Here, offering him the one that he doesn't want. So the topic today is, how do you get rid of mom guilt and actually work from a position of peace and actually enjoy your job and enjoy being a mother? And the truth is, like, I make jokes about this all the time, but every time I open my laptop, the kids need me. And it's awesome. It is such a privilege to be in a place where I get to work in the midst of my babies. And every time that I'm with my babies and I'm all in, I am thinking about all the holes in my boat for my business. I am thinking about all the sales and deals and blog posts and things that I can create that would be really helpful for other people as a content creator. And so, like, I feel that tension all the time, but I don't make that tension mean that I'm bad. And I think this is where I see a lot of moms going down this road is like, they think that because they have the tension in and of itself is bad and therefore they are bad, which is the very basis of cognitive behavioral therapy. Is the main reason we don't do things is because if it feels uncomfortable feels bad, therefore I'm bad. And so we avoid anything bad. But what we can do is we can set the stage to make it really safe for people to learn new skills and to try new things and to not make it mean that when you make a mistake, that it's not bad. It just means it's a moment for a reevaluation and a different implementation. So a few years ago when I started selling essential oils online, with my network marketing company, there were a lot of women who were working like 10 hours straight and like flinging snacks at their kids. And they were doing this day in and day out because they were told that if you went really, really fast and you worked really, really hard, you could get off the ground, you could launch into the air, and you could work faster and make more money. And it was a temporary season of sacrifice with your kids. And what we started seeing on the internet through Facebook posts and comments alike were all these moms who were like, I'm ignoring my kids. This is wrong. This feels wrong. It is. There's a reason that feels bad. And so then everybody started talking about like renouncing hustle culture. Like that's when the movement of hustle culture came in, and you had all these ladies who were like, I was hustling and I was ignoring my kids and I wasn't eating and I wasn't sleeping and I wasn't taking care of myself. I got burned out and I quit. And like that's when we started seeing like anti-hustle culture coming in. And so the pendulum was swinging from one end to the other. And all the while I was standing there and I felt kind of like the odd duck because I didn't feel any of that. Like I wasn't burned out. I didn't quit. I didn't stop. I also didn't do everything. And so the message of work-life balance came in, and I was like, well, work-life balance doesn't really exist either. Like there are weeks in our business we're a little bit busier and everybody in our family is impacted by that. And then there are some weeks where our family, it's really, really busy and our business is impacted by that, but it's not bad. And what I've really learned to cultivate and what I'm hoping to sell you on today is the mindset that your family can benefit your business and your business can benefit your family. And as long as it's mutually beneficial, what's really great is you enjoy both. It's been taught that you either have to have one or the other. But I'm here to tell you that that's actually not true. You can have both and you can be both. Now, will you experience moments of frustration? Absolutely. Will you question and doubt whether or not you're making the right decision? Absolutely, which I'm going to share with you a really helpful tip in my coach belt, a mindset that continues to serve me over and over and over again. Our butter is melted, and so we're gonna move it off here. I'm gonna add some milk and some water. That should warm it up enough for the yeast. And that thought is, I can be directionally accurate. Like, I'm obsessed with being directionally accurate. I am not obsessed over being actually accurate. Which gives me a lot of wiggle room in both my business and in my motherhood. Let me bring you over here because I'm going to stand over here for a minute. What do I mean by directionally accurate versus actually accurate? If I wake up and I am intentional, and in my day-to-day I have pray with my children, make sure that they do their checklist, fix 3 good meals a day, and sit down and have a family meal and do things that day that will cultivate our family relationship, that is directionally accurate. Okay? If I don't make but 1 meal from scratch today, and I didn't pray with the kids, and we failed to have a great day in general, I'm not going to stress over 1 day. Okay? My family is not going to be forever impacted by 1 bad day. And I think that some people, maybe even you're like, 1 bad day means I have a bad life. And so then I'm not sure where my garbage went. So then we make that mean something more than it actually is. So I am telling myself, well, this is the direction I'm aiming for. And if I don't get there today and I'm not perfect at it, it's no sweat. I am not going to lay down my piece, okay? I'm going to make it right. I'm going to do my best. And I'm also going to maybe reassess whether or not I can do it in my day. Directionally accurate for my business. I want to engage on social media. Whatever platforms I'm growing my audience, I'm asking myself, what could I put into the world that's from my tree of knowledge and tree of experience and tree of skills, and what can I do to collapse time or make someone else's life more rich and bless them today and grow my audience, so that way whatever products and services and things that I have to offer, they are more likely to say yes. What can I do today? And so I'm like, I will do a post on Instagram, I'll do a post on Facebook, I'll go live on YouTube. I will do things that I know that will grow my audience, because I have a whole list of brands and products and services that I love and use. And when someone is ready to purchase those things because they like my content and they appreciate who I am, they're more likely to use my link and my services. And so I know that that is the direction that I'm going. So if I put on my list today, post here, post there, show up here, do this, do that, directionally I'm accurate. If you want to know how to be directionally accurate too, like what would you have to do to ensure that your business didn't grow and that your family wasn't healthy? Like, make a list of all the ways that it wouldn't be healthy and then do the opposite. I like to reverse engineer some things, right? So being directionally accurate instead of actually accurate really dispels a lot of guilt, because I don't have to be perfect. And for the girl who was saying in her post, like, I'm a perfectionist, well, then yes, if you feel like you have to hit everything on your to-do list that day, and then you don't, and then you make that mean that you're no good or what you're doing is not good, well, then you're going to experience overwhelming guilt. And then what's crazy is you'll be like, oh, I didn't get A, B, C, D, E, F, G done. And then you tell yourself this entire list of how you're failing in both your business and in your motherhood, and then it's just a recipe for disaster. And then you don't enjoy either one, and then you spiral in the doom cycle of guilt. It's awful. So what do we do then? Like, how do we move away, and how do we have both a good experience in our motherhood and be a good business builder? It's a great question. I'm going to share with you a few things that I like to think of, some mental frameworks that have allowed me to really shine and move my feet. and not get stuck in inactivity. Because if you're building a business online, the more inactive you are, the higher your doubt is going to increase. Doubt increases with inactivity. So again, if I can get you to move your feet, if I can get you to do one thing for your business or one thing for your motherhood today, then you will be likely to do another thing and then another thing, and then compounding momentum is real. So, number one, the truth is humans were made to work and multiply. And my kids are evidence of that. Our family is very large. We have a bunch of children, and I'm still 40 and fruitful. And my husband and I, we would have 100 babies, okay? And it takes a lot of work to have this kind of household. So work in and of itself is not bad, and we are meant to multiply. And so this idea of avoiding work, which I'm not saying anybody's doing that, but work is good. Work is very good. And so that's a mentality that has really, really helped me be centered in saying, I'm here on this earth for just a short while to make impact, to make sure everybody is activated, and my gifts and talents are supposed to activate your gifts and talents, and your gifts and talents are meant to activate other people, and we're all here to do a very special work in the earth. Okay? And then we die, and real life begins. Okay? And so that is my philosophy, and that is where I'm coming from. And so when I see that work is good, then both work with my family and for my family, and the work that we do to generate income, both are good. And so that is really, really helpful. And when I can think about both at the same time as good, and that they can both mutually benefit one another, I'll tell you what I mean by that. My business directly benefits our family. If we get a $10,000 check from a brand, or we have 17 people buy essential oils from Young Living, that's, how much money is that? It's $50 per person that we make in commission. So I don't know, how much money is that? $1,000? $700? That money mutually, that benefit, that puts Costco on my table, that feeds my family, that allows us to buy the things that we need to make this household run, which I'm going to get to an extremely important point in why women are so good at business. It's because your house runs like a business, right? You have overhead, you have a budget, you have things that you need to do to make it run smoothly. You clean it every day, you run operations. It's that's why women are so good at business, because we're relational and we know how to run a home, or at least we're actively trying. Okay, and so my kids benefit greatly from my work financially, but they also benefit greatly from my work because they watch me work and they watch you work. So one of the most core memories I have was when I was in 5th grade, and my mom worked in a bakery for years. She worked at a local Meijer in Michigan. I grew up, shout out to my homies in Michigan. Whoop whoop. Where did you live in the Michigan map? And she got it all cleared. I got to go to work with her one day. I got to be in the bakery with her when I was in 5th grade. And I remember, I got dressed for the day. I put on the apron. I put on the hat.
Running in the house.
I did donuts. I powdered donuts. I decorated cakes. It was just the most magical thing. And I felt so important on Take Your Daughter to Work Day. I felt like this mattered. And I felt like that good job, well done thing. Can you shut that front door for me, Mama? Mama? Okay. Can you shut the front door for me, please?
Yeah, sure.
The boys failed to do it. And so, watching my mom work was so good for me. And her inviting me along into that, she taught me herself at her job how to do specific skills. And this is where my business really benefits my kids, because my kids are learning Canva, they're learning video, they're learning how to write, they're learning how to read, they're learning how to do sales. I'm sorry, I have to go unlock this door. And those things that I am learning skills in, my kids get to learn from me. Like every day is take your daughter to work day. Every day is take your son to work day. And all the skills that I'm gaining, all the skills that you are gaining are directly benefiting you and your kids because you get to teach them these things. In fact, my kids are growing up in a really interesting spot because I was always trained that we go to work, right? And so my kids are learning how to work for themselves. Huge asset, right? So my business benefits my kids big time, money-wise and skill-wise. It is good to let your kids watch you work. That's why when you feel bad, and I'll tell you some of the ways that I grew my business. I had 4 kids, ages 5 and under. I'm gonna share with you some practical tips and tricks. And some of you feel really guilty for doing some of these tips and tricks. And I'm hoping that I inspire you and also get you to understand that work is good. It's good for you, it's good for your kids, and you guys, at the end of the day, when you do this and you put your feet up and you watch that movie, you will feel so good about the work that you guys accomplished together. Now, how does my business benefit from my family? Because they are mutually beneficial. So my kids are now a little bit older. That was a lot different when they were younger. Because when your kids are small, they're willing to help, but they're not able. So like my 3-year-old and my 4-year-old, my 5-year-old, they are willing to work. They're like, Mom, can I help? But they're not able to do some of the tasks. Like some of the things that I would have to do for work would actually be, take me a lot longer, and it would be a lot messier, and something is more likely to break, right? But then they move into a stage where they are able, and then they're unwilling. So my business is benefited by the moments where they are learning to be willing. And then it switches when they're older. So like my daughter is 12 and now she is willing and able. And so how does that benefit my business? Well, when I need orders packed or I need something done, or the post office, they can go to the post office for me. They can run to the store for me. We live local to a store. And so if I need an ingredient or something for the house, they can go run and get that for me. They can help me run my home, which is an extension of my business because we have a home business. And so my business benefits from all the people who are around me who can help. It's awesome. And sometimes I think that we just think that it's bad to put our kids to work. And I'm telling you, the best lessons in life that I have had came off the back of good old-fashioned hard work. Like I learned character, and I learned how to interact with people, and I learned what it means to show up and have grit and work through bad attitudes. Okay, so this is good. My business benefits because I can also pay my children, which I do. I pay my children to do work in the business. I don't pay them to do chores. And if you guys have any questions on that in the comments below, you can totally leave that. I don't pay them to do chores around the house, but I will pay them to pack boxes. Like once upon a time, I made $15,000 on Instagram by selling sourdough starter. I will do a video on that. If you have questions about it, I'll tell you all the steps that I did. But there was a lot of box making and packing and putting together sourdough. And so I paid them $10 an hour. And I had 4 of my big kids that I got to leverage and pay. And they were so excited because they got to earn money and they learned the skill of just hourly work. It's awesome. My business benefits from my family, and my family benefits from my business. Both can exist. Now, a lot of the guilt, what I notice, especially from moms on the internet talking about their mom guilt, comes when they're like really small. And so I thought I would share with you a couple tips and tricks that I did when my kids I had 4 kids ages 5 and under. And this is where I hear a lot of the rumor mill of mom guilt, is that I should be spending time with my babies and not working. And yes, and your children also work. Their work is just different than yours. And so what I would do in my mental process for working when my kids were around, I didn't work during their nap time. If anybody needs to be set free today, I did not work during nap time. You know what I did during nap time? I took a nap. I have a successful multi-six-figure online audience. I love you guys. Take naps to the glory of God, the good of the people. I did not work during nap time. And I just don't think that there's a badge of honor for women who work through nap time. And so for me, if I understand that my business benefits my family and my family benefits my business, then I would work while they were working. So kids' work is play. And so when my kids were ages 5 and under, I had 4 of them. I had these mornings where they would be watching, a show, like watching Bluey. They would be running around, throwing blocks. They'd be playing in the room together. They would be having meltdowns. And I would be sitting there formulating posts on Facebook. I would be commenting and getting to know other people. I was writing blog posts. I was, doing videos with my kids in the background. That's one of the ways that I grew my audience, was with my kids around. And it was loud and it was crazy, but it was not a big deal because they were working, and as they were working, I was working. And so that meant we were all working. And if you can have a category of thought where your work is your work and their play is their work, then you will stop feeling guilty about working when they're playing. I'm not a big play on the floor with my kids kind of mom. I love my babies. I snuggle my babies. I rock my babies. I feed my babies. I laugh at my babies. I encourage them. I buy wonderful things for them. And I just don't have that obligation of like, I need to get on the floor and make sure that they know I love them. Which leads me to my next point, is that quantity of time and quality of time are not the same. I remember that time with my mom when she took me to work, but I don't remember what time we went to work, and I don't remember for how many hours I was allowed to be there, because I'm pretty sure I wasn't allowed to be there for the full 8-hour shift. I'm pretty sure I came in maybe for like 2 hours, but I'm not sitting here thinking to myself, man, I really enjoyed spending from 2:30 in the afternoon with my mom until 3:30 in the afternoon. Kids don't measure time, they measure how you make them feel. And quality of time together versus quantity. I feel like there's this lie going around that in order to be a good mom, you have to spend a quantity of time with your children. And I'm telling you, they're so oblivious to that. You know this to be true. If you have a toddler, they have no concept of time. Yesterday, this is just me yesterday, and I'm a mom of many. I've had 7 toddlers, okay? I told my toddler yesterday, let's go to the pool. Do you want to go to the pool? And I was meaning we were going to go to the pool later. And he was like, we're going now. And he had no concept of time, right? He thought we were going now. And so I just want to set somebody free here, is that how you make them feel and how you are present to them, and that you actually working from home and being home and being in their lives and being present. Being present is not just making sure that you are like all focus on them for hours and hours a day. Yes, put down your phone, set your timer for 20 minutes, enjoy, get in the moment, totally. And go ahead and sit on your couch while they work and get in the zone and set your timer for 30 minutes and get some work done. And then if they interrupt you, no problem. It's not a problem unless you make it a problem. And so I just want to remind you that quantity of time is not the same thing as quality of time. The kids are not going to remember what time of day you played with them. Okay? You will know you're out of alignment because the guilt will be like, this doesn't feel right. But also, there's a difference, and for those of you guys who are new to my channel, I am a Christian. And so when I do experience moments of guilt and I feel convicted, conviction is different than guilt, which leads me to my next point, is that guilt doesn't have to have the final say. When you're a Christian, you have a place to take your guilt, right? You have a place to take your guilt. And either goodness and mercy follow you all the days of your life and you can be totally forgiven and rework it and try again and do it different. Again, directionally accurate, not absolutely accurate for all my perfectionist followers here. By the way, if you guys are wondering what we're doing, we're making hamburger buns and we're gonna let these sit and I'm gonna let them proof. I'm probably gonna let you go. I'll post maybe a short or the recipe for how these turn out. If you haven't started following me over on Instagram yet, I'm gonna invite you to follow me on Instagram because I show all the recipes and all the videos and the befores and afters, but live YouTube is a little bit different. I'm not gonna make you sit around and wait for my bread to rise because we all have things to do today, right? But I just wanna remind you that either Jesus takes care of your guilt or he doesn't. Either he says he forgives you and you can rearrange things and get back into realignment, which is why I love these. I'll leave a link for you in the show notes. They're not called show notes. I have a podcast and the description on YouTube. But these are realignment and reminders. So we get out of alignment all the time. Okay, that's why work-life balance, like if you're focused on work-life balance, that's where your energy is going to go. Is like, am I making sure that I'm spending 20 minutes with you and 20 minutes with them and the business, like with them and the business with them? And I'm like, no, you need reminders and realignments. And when you receive conviction, it's a realignment. It's an invitation to say like, oh, yep, that was not actually directionally accurate. I need to go back over here and do things a little bit different and get back into a place of alignment. And then you move forward without guilt. You don't have to sit there and be like, see, I told you I was a terrible mom. See, I told you I was a bad business builder because I was, I chose one over the other and my motives were impure. And it's like, yeah, totally. All day, we're humans. So take that guilt and receive the forgiveness, and either surely, goodness and mercy are following you all the days of your life, or they're not. And I don't know about you, I'm not comfortable with calling God a liar. It takes a lot of faith to say work is good, they can benefit one another, I can be a good mom and a good business builder, I can do both. And will that mean that you can't do everything? Absolutely, that could be a whole video in and of itself. I don't do everything. We don't do sports at all. My kids are not in any extracurricular activities. We are literally working, going to church, doing school, and going to the pool because it's the summer, okay? We're choosing to do a few things really well. We have tons of margin in our day, tons of margin. I have 2 kids that take naps right now. One of them takes 2 naps a day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And then the one who takes 1 nap a day is sleeping in the middle of those 2 naps. It's not a problem, but the invitation is to create a business schedule and a home schedule that mutually benefit one another. Both. And will that mean you have to rearrange things often and reevaluate in your seasons? Absolutely. Last year I really struggled to be to be more present in my business because I was raising a new baby that I just given birth to, and that was not a problem. I could still be a good mom and be a good business builder. I want to remind you too, the reason that you're really, if you're thinking about building an audience or building a business and you're like, I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but you run a house and you have kids, you're already running a business. Your home operates very much like a restaurant, actually. And the restaurant has hours where you're cooking and cleaning, and there's budget and there's overhead, and you got to keep the lights on, and you gotta bring in your ingredients, and you've got to get everybody on schedules, and like you're literally running a business in your home. And so you are already good at this. And I didn't say you're perfect at it. Goodness gracious, nobody's running a perfect home right now. Nobody. There are things that I could be doing way better. It's an invitation to be realigned. Anyway, I have these for free in the description below. If you want to print these, they're like little fortune cookies, and you draw one every day. I have it on my kids' chore chart.
Yeah, that's so fun.
Yeah, they draw one every day, and they each read one to me, and it's a scripture, and it usually has to do with one of 6 areas of life: money, relationships, strained relationships, marriage, parenting, business, and your health. And
alignment. Right?
yeah, so these are reminders and realignments. I'll leave this for you. You can make your own. If you have a jar at home, you can print these off at your house. They're completely free, and it comes with my habit system that we give to our kids too, because when the kids wake up, they also have work to do, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, and the only thing you need, the only thing you ask for is Proverbs. Literally.
You like Proverbs.
Yeah, but you
ask
get
for
it
Proverbs.
every time.
That is so true. Okay, so if you are new to my channel, thanks for being here. If you haven't already, give us a subscribe. We're building a brand new audience over here, but I love coaching moms specifically who are working from home or want to have a successful business and a successful home, and you want to have emotional health, and you want to feel good about what you're doing and how you're doing it, and this is how we do it. Your business benefits your family, and your family benefits your business, right? This girl is going to be the CEO of my businesses. So I'm going to leave all my businesses to her.
She said I'm going to be 10 times better.
Yeah, she's really, really good. If you have any questions or clarifying comments, please leave them below. I would love to get to know you more. And if you struggle with mom guilt, drop it down there. I would love to pray for you, and I would love to encourage you. And if there's anything else you'd like me to talk about, leave it in the comments too. That helps me decide on what we talk about next. I will also leave this recipe for you. Hamburger buns with just, I think it's 6 or 7 ingredients. They are so good. All right, love ya. Later. Bye.
Mom, guess what?